So now you can spawn subagents and pass them exactly what they need with a clear goal. But what happens when a subagent must not proceed until a condition is met, or when its output has to be handed off to a human? This module gives you enforcement gates that block a tool until a prerequisite is satisfied, a structured handoff format a person can actually act on, and a way to decompose a message that mixes several concerns into clean, separate parts. Let's start with the enforcement gate. By the end of this module, you can gate a tool behind a prerequisite, compile a handoff a human can act on, and decompose a multi-concern message. Here is how this module builds up. A programmatic gate is code that enforces tool ordering by tracking session state and refusing to execute a downstream tool until its prerequisite has completed. It's deterministic, unlike prompt instructions, which are probabilistic and fail about 12% of the time in production. When the gate blocks, it returns a structured error that names the missing step in the tool that supplies it, so the agent can recover. The distinction people get wrong is thinking any ordering problem needs a gate. That's the mirror trap. Gates are for consequential failures that must never happen. For a tool the agent nearly picks badly, the fix is the description, not a gate. Without a programmatic gate, an agent can skip customer verification and refund the wrong account. Production data shows this happens in 12% of cases. The agent calls lookup order on a stated name alone, occasionally sending money to the wrong person. That's a financial incident, and it's exactly the kind of consequential failure that must never happen. Prompt instructions can't prevent it because they're probabilistic, they have a non-zero failure rate. A gate makes the ordering deterministic, so the refund tool simply cannot run until a verified customer ID exists. The cost of not using a gate here is real money and broken trust. Let's work the refund case. You write a gate in the tool handler for process refund. It checks session state, is there a verified customer ID? If not, it refuses to run and returns a structured error, missing verified customer ID. Call getCustomer first to obtain it. That tells the model exactly what's missing and which tool supplies it, so recovery is one step. The alternative of a stronger system prompt is rejected because it's probabilistic, money is at stake, and a 12% skip rate is unacceptable. A routing classifier is also rejected because it changes which tools are available, not the order they're called. The defect is ordering, not availability. The other cases, lookup order and any downstream tool, follow the same pattern. The rest are on the page. The durable rule is, gate only when the failure is consequential and must never happen. For a refund, that's true, money is at stake. For a tool the agent merely picks badly, fix the description instead. When you do gate, always return a structured, actionable error that names the missing prerequisite and the tool that supplies it. Never rely on prompt wording or few-shot examples for deterministic enforcement, they are probabilistic by nature and will fail eventually. And reject routing classifiers for ordering problems, they change availability, not sequence, so they don't address the root cause. On the exam, the most common distractor is strengthen the system prompt to say verification is mandatory. That's the archetypal wrong answer for any rule that must hold 100% of the time. It's probabilistic, and the exam guide explicitly calls out the non-zero failure rate. Also watch for the mirror trap, a scenario where ordering is merely suboptimal, not consequential. The correct answer there is to improve the tool description, not add a gate. Finally, expect questions that test whether your blocked call returns structured, actionable guidance, naming the missing prerequisite and the tool that supplies it rather than a generic failure. This part is testcraft, but it reflects real design judgment. A structured escalation handoff is a payload that replaces the conversation transcript for a human who lacks access to it. It is not a raw log dump, and it is not a one-line plea for help. The boundary that trips people up is confusing the when of escalation, governed by trust and safety rules, with the what you hand over. This technique is purely about the what, the fields that turn a handoff from an investigation request into a decision brief. Without a structured handoff, the human agent receives a ticket that says customer is unhappy, please help, or a wall of chat. They have to read the whole transcript if they even have access, or ask the customer to repeat everything. In production, this means every escalation adds 10 to 15 minutes of rework, customer repetition, and agent frustration. It also breaks the trust the AI built over 9 turns. The cost is not just time, it is the failure of the handoff itself, turning a warm transfer into a cold restart. Take the damaged item dispute from the document. The agent has spent 9 turns verifying the customer, finding the order, and confirming the damage, but the refund policy doesn't cover it. The escalation call fires. You write the payload, customer ID and order ID from the system, not names from chat. Root cause, item arrived damaged, verified with photos, policy excludes this category. Amount at stake, the refund value. Recommended action, issue goodwill refund of X or offer replacement. Reason, policy gap, no coverage for this damage type. The alternative is to hand over the transcript, but that loses because the human cannot see it and would have to re-verify everything. The other cases in the document follow the same pattern. The key is always to replace the missing transcript with decision-ready fields. The durable rule is, a handoff must replace the transcript the human cannot see. That means every field answers a question the human would otherwise have to ask. Use machine keys, not free text, because names can be mistyped or ambiguous. State what the agent already verified, because redoing work is the cost you are avoiding. Always include a recommended action. The human's job is to decide, not to investigate from scratch. And the reason for escalation must be one of the legitimate triggers: policy gap, explicit customer request, or no further progress possible. Rejecting a routing classifier is not just trivia, it is wrong because it bypasses the language understanding you are paying for and dumps unstructured context on a human. On the exam, this is tested by giving you a scenario and asking you to evaluate a handoff payload. The most common distractor is a payload that includes the escalation trigger conditions instead of the handoff fields, mixing the when and the what. Another is a payload that looks structured but uses free text names instead of machine keys, or omits the root cause. If you see an answer that hands over the raw transcript or a one-line summary, reject it immediately. This is testcraft. The exam wants you to spot the missing field that would force the human to ask a question. Parallel investigation means you decompose a multi-concern message into distinct items, then investigate each using shared context and independent lookups that can run concurrently. It is not simply answering 3 questions in one message. The distinction people get wrong is treating it as serial triage: handle the first concern, then the second, then the third. That burns turns and degrades context for later items. True parallel investigation reuses verification once and fires independent lookups at the same time, then synthesizes a single coherent resolution. Without this technique, an agent handles only the first concern and ignores the rest, or it serializes all 3 lookups one after another. In production, that means the customer gets a reply about the damaged order but silence on the double charge and the logout. Even if all 3 are eventually answered, serial execution dumps verbose lookup results into the same window, so the third concern is answered from a degraded context. The cost is a support interaction that drags on for multiple turns, frustrates the customer, and still produces a poor answer for the last item. Parallel investigation prevents that failure by reusing context and running independent lookups concurrently, then delivering one complete reply. Take the message: my order number 4471 arrived broken, I was double charged in March, and I want to know why my account keeps logging me out. You extract 3 distinct items: damaged order, double charge, and logout. Customer verification runs once and is reused as shared context across all 3. The order lookup and the billing lookup are independent, so they can run in parallel. The alternative of running them one after another loses because it burns turns and risks degraded context for the logout investigation. The unified reply resolves each item explicitly, for example, confirming a refund for the order, explaining the billing correction, and stating that the logout cause is still under investigation. The other 2 concerns follow the same pattern, the rest are on the page. The durable rule is, decompose first, then investigate in parallel using shared context, and always synthesize one unified reply. Reuse customer verification instead of repeating it, because repeating it wastes turns and tokens. Run independent lookups concurrently, because serializing them burns the turn budget and degrades context for later items. When the author rejects the option of handling only the first concern, the reason is that it leaves the customer with unresolved issues and forces a second interaction. Rejecting a serial approach loses because verbose lookup results crowd out the third concern, and the quality of that answer collapses. Trim those results so every item gets a fair share of context. This is tested with multi-concern message scenarios where you must demonstrate decomposition and parallel investigation planning. The distractor that catches people is handling the concerns serially, answering the first, then the second, then the third. That is marked incorrect because it wastes turns and degrades context. Another distractor is producing 3 disconnected answers stapled together instead of one synthesized reply. And the context degradation trap is real. If you do not mention trimming verbose lookup results, the examiner knows you have missed the context management dimension of the technique. Before you go, remember, gates prevent real damage, not just any ordering problem. When you hand off, give the next person exactly what they need, no more, no less. And if a message mixes concerns, split it early so the model stays focused. That's what keeps your pipeline safe and clear.